Hi, welcome back channel, FIFA Mobile. Alright, finally sell one more player and achieved 1.1 billion. And of course, EA created the problem and did not solve it. There are many players that you play VSA, they realize they have really crazy team data comprised of very high OVR players. So this is a bug of a UTOTS that was created by EA, and people just claim lots and lots of UTOTS players. So, and when you play the VSA, you realize that your opponents have crazy teams. This is because of EA, and they didn't solve that problem, and yet. I think this is the consequences we're going to suffer as players of FIFA Mobile. So definitely not a good developer in my opinion. So in the context whereby if you're thinking of changing UTOTS, I think it's not worth it. So do go ahead and spend all your tokens on the 20 packs instead. I'm going to spend all my players, whatever I have, into the exchange. And now I'm doing a 1-1-1 exchange. And with that, let's see who we get. Alright, seems like a good chance we're able to sell this player for the good price, 80 over million, so not too bad after all. So with that players being sold, definitely I'm going to achieve my final target of 1.1 billion. That was the target I set initially when I was saving around 400 million. So it was a long journey in saving all this coins, but nonetheless I think really happy we managed to do that. And of course with the crazy price of the 115 or 114 players, 1.1 billion doesn't really worth much. So there's a huge inflation created by EA, all thanks to their stupid bug. So with that, I think some crazy players you see in the market is worth 2 over billion. So you can imagine the bug that they created and the problem they have created for us. So there's no turning back. So if you're thinking why not spend that 1.1 billion to the players right now, I think there's no point in doing it because of the number of players in the market currently that they have already have saturated with UTOTS players. Every single lineup you see in the VSA, there's a high number of high OVR players that they have. So there's no way you can catch up because of the bug that was created. And with that, I don't think I'm going to spend any of my coins into buying players right now. Initially, my plan was once I save up to 1.1 billion, I'm going to change my whole lineup because in that context, one player is 100 million. I think we should have more than enough with 1.1 billion. Don't think the fact that some of the players will worth some coins and we're going to trade them in the market as well. But in the current context, as I mentioned, is totally screwed up, whereby there is no way you can get good players out of it. Sorry. So the players has went up to very high. Some as the lower OVR ones like 113 is about 500 million. Can you imagine that? With 1.1 billion, you can only buy 2 players. So if you're looking at the 111, yes, slightly I think about 100 million each, but there's no point in changing all the 111 because that doesn't mean much because end of the day there are already many players with 120 really high OVR players, I must say, and there's no way we can work at 120 unless you get a 115. So with 115 fully upgraded, you get 120. But how can you get a 115 which is worth 2 billion? So I don't think we can able to catch up in that context. So with that, I think I'll continue to save and play whatever I could from this free game. I'm not going to spend a single cent as usual at being a free-to-play. I think totally not worth it in this context of very poor developer. And the compensation they've offered us so far is basically giving us 2 players, one of 112 OVR and one is 114 OVR. Nonetheless, this is given to all players, so even those who achieve using the bug and they will get this player as well. So I don't think that will work out eventually. So there's no way they can reset the game. This is probably I thought the best idea is to end the whole game altogether. So that being said, let's see what we can do from the remaining of the TOTS. Alright, so in the TOTS itself, depending on luck, this is one of the matches you got to play, and then eventually you got to play a H to H. I don't have luck in that. It's totally rigged, and managed to lose both of the H2H. And this one, I just want to show you, which is the match before that, the one of the skill game, and then one match, and then followed by one H2H. But I'm not going to show you the losing H2H, neither when I show you the skill game as well. I'm just going to show you the ones, which is this one, the match itself, which is the semi-final. So it may look tough, I must say. Eventually, you just got to keep on trying. If you did not succeed, close off the app and then try again. So in this match itself, I think more importantly is try to do a lot of passing, but not long passes, short passes, so that you avoid the opponent getting in possession of the ball. Once they get possession of the ball, it's quite difficult to wrestle it out from them, given the high AI rigged that was being programmed in for this match itself. There are chances of getting ridiculous scoring by the opponent and a very bad refereeing as well. So all this comes into play because of AI rigged by EA. So make sure you try to have a good gap between yourself and the opponent. Always try to create gaps by putting short passes, and at the same time, if you're thinking of outrunning the opponent defenders, that doesn't seem to be working out. So just make sure you create a great gap. If need to, go backwards and back pass as well, and then try your best to score as much as possible. You need to try multiple attempts because there'll be multiple failures or to the AI. So just keep on trying. If you have scored a goal, do a lot of time wasting, because that's the only way of moving forward, because I know it's not really honorable to do time wasting, but nonetheless, you're facing a dishonorable EA AI itself. So just take note of this. When you're faced with a dishonorable person or dishonorable programming, I think we could do a dishonorable act as well, which is time wasting. So if it is against a real player, probably not to do that. I think it's quite frustrating when you play H2H and you're wasting time. I'd rather you play like a real gamer in a way. All right. So there are times whereby you're faced with H2H, you realize people are just wasting time, especially when you score a goal. It's really frustrating. But end of the day, that's the way to go. I mean, if this is the way they want to win it, right? So if against the AI, you need to do it, unfortunately. I mean, end of the day, you want to win the AI. It's not that easy because it's highly programmed against you. So the referee is not fair. All right. So that being said, we're almost coming towards the tail end of this match itself. We're trying to just hold on to 1-0. If we could, we score another one, but it's really tough. 5 more minutes to go. That's the end of this. And of course, in terms of spending coins, if you're thinking, there are multiple ways of spending. Of course, one is easy, one is to buy players. But I think the important one is roughly to get the skill boost upgraded. It costs a lot. I think as high as 5 million for one skill boost upgrade as you progress further. I think that's from 18 to 19. I believe it costs even more when you progress from 19 skill boost to 20. So all these savings, they need to come to play. It is really tough to save, but I think now the fact that each player is worth so much is really something you could think about. Even downgrading. I mean, downgrading in a way, sell the players that you have and then put in the untradeable ones, and then sell whatever you could. You can see crazy numbers of players with very high OVR players. So that's not normal to me, because there's no way here you can get such high OVR players unless you spend like thousands of real dollars. So it is really dumb if this is a player that spent thousands of dollars into the game for this kind of game. No way, right? So not even any other game you should be spending so much. I mean, this is really crazy. The amount of if the person spent this, I think could be at least 5,000 USD. But I don't think people should be doing such crazy stuff. So in that context, it will be a case whereby this person may have benefited from the bug created by EA at the start of the UTOTS, whereby every single 20 tokens spent on the pack, you get a UTOTS players, and they could get multiples of it, and then eventually they may have sold it, and then get even better players from Prime Icon. But that being said, this is all done, and I think EA can't do anything about it because it's their bug. So with that, there's no way we can win such players. So it's really unfortunate. EA even put them to game it against us. Alright, so thank you for watching. Do like and subscribe. Remember, play free, never pay.